Hey guys, if you saw me go live exactly like this, like literally 10 seconds ago on my other account, I don't know why. Oh, I'm way too far. I always get confused with what account to go live on. So I'm actually on the right account now. Hi, how are you? I hope that you are well or doing as well as you possibly can be given the circumstances of existing right now. Way too many people were joining and I was like, am I on my personal account? And I was. Anyway. I am here. Hi, thank you for joining. I wanted to hop on really quickly just to talk a little bit about this full moon, the very first full moon of 2021, which is on Thursday. I want to talk a little bit about the energy, the retrograde, Mercury retrograde that will also be happening on the 30th. So I believe that's either Saturday or Sunday. Kind of what the energy feels like. Really quick, because I have like a whole video on it that I will share as well. And I wanted to share a little meditation as well as some cards that I've found to be really in alignment with the energy. So for those of you who aren't aware, we have the very first full moon this Thursday in the sign of Leo. And I think the main, there's so many themes that are going on with this moon transit, but I think one that we really want to focus on right now and why I've uploaded the journaling prompt that I did is connecting back to acting accordingly with our confidence, right? I feel like we have been there's so many major planets that have been and are moving into the sign of Aquarius. And with so much air focus, we can really be cerebral. We can really be overthinking things. We can be really trying to squeeze. How long is the meditation? The meditation is, I would say maybe 10 to 15 minutes. But it'll come later. But this will be saved if you want to do it later on, or no worries, my queen. But yeah, so because we've been so cerebral, we've been trying to squeeze the logic out of everything. We've been trying to navigate things using our minds and thinking our way through. And I think with the Leo fire energy that we really, really needed, it's coming back to feeling our bodies, feeling how things resonate with our physical vessels instead of our minds, right? Not thinking so much, but feeling our way through. And what's really coming, once again, why I uploaded the journaling prompt about confidence is really how we're going to step back into loving ourselves and acting in accordingly with our confidence. The whole saying fake it till you make it is so heavily debated, but it really is true that if you do at least feed yourself the dialogue that you are worthy, that you are deserving, that will eventually begin to shift into your body chemistry. You know, when you walk into a room, it isn't you sort of explaining the reasons why you should be valued and accepted and seen as worthy. It's an energy read. It's something that is felt. It's something that's understood when you walk and when you present yourself. And so it's really important that with this Leo full moon, is coming up to us to tell us, you've been in your mind, you've been overthinking, you've been trying to figure out what path, you've been trying to overcome so many obstacles, trying to come back to yourself. Stop trying to take condition out of everything. Stop trying to convince yourself why you're deserving of feeling worthy or hit enough goals or be productive enough to now feel like you're worthy of feeling good about yourself. It's time to feel good about yourself right now. Yeah, exactly. It's all about sort of shifting that inner dialogue. So the reason why I really wanted to share this meditation is because it will kind of put you in a space where you can see who you are when you are at your most confidence, when you already do feel deserving of everything that is your God-given birthright, and sort of morphing with that energy. So I do want to eventually, during this live, share that with you guys. But another thing, I should actually probably look at my notes. Another thing is that we do want to come back to a space of creativity, right? So Leos, if you know anything about this energy, Leos are all about expression. They're all about drama, which I will say, obviously there's duality and a lot of these experiences, right? So while the good side of Leo can be allowing ourselves to express ourselves creatively and unconditionally and sort of just put out to the world whatever comes to us without worrying about monetary compensation or anything that comes back and playing. The adverse side of Leo is pride and is ego, right? The Leos, they tend to love themselves to an extent that can be detrimental almost. So I say that to say that if there are any situations that come up where you see either you or the other party acting from a space of pride or acting from a space of ego, really be intentional with honoring that. So if you find yourself responding to situations knowing that you are not coming from a place of understanding or not coming from a solid place, but rather your own pride is speaking, taking a few steps back and breathing through that. And also if you are operating or dealing with somebody who you can tell easily is being led by their ego and by their pride, knowing how to navigate that with intention as well, understanding that you aren't communicating with sort of their seat of intuition, you're communicating with the boundary that is their own ego. So navigating that, Saturn and Mars are both playing. So if you do feel any tension, if you do feel any stagnancy, pushing through that the best of your ability. And sometimes pushing through that means rest. It means stop pushing. Sometimes it means that, when the energy is fighting back a little bit, it's calling you to sit down and to breathe through it and to not force things that maybe are going to take some time. What other notes did I have before I get into? Yes, let play rejuvenate you. If you've been feeling depleted, you are not alone. So many people have been so cerebral. So many people have been really overthinking and really overprocessing. To feel okay with playing, to feel okay with being creative, to feel okay with just honoring rest and rejuvenation and knowing that that is what's going to fill your cup up so that you can pour out. Saturn, the planet of limitation, and Mars, the planet of action, are squaring. So there's a lot of, if arguments come up and if things are more dramatic than usual, know that that is also Leo. And that once again, that connects back to people operating from a space of pride rather than a space of understanding. So just taking everything with a grain of salt. Use this energy wisely. We're in the shadow period of Mercury retrograde, right? It starts on the 30th. So Mercury retrograde, as we all infamously know, has a lot to do with just like delays, revision, resurfacing of old relationships. But it's such a frowned upon period of time, but I think it's amazing because it always comes during a period that's good for planning. So what I will say is using this burst of energy to not only express yourself creatively and to play, I would also say to use it to sort of, if you want to build a home, now would not be the time to put nails to wood, but rather to plan out the blueprint. So using this period of time, using this bolt of energy and using this retrograde to really get in alignment with like, what am I building for myself? And what's important about this retrograde is that it is in the sign of Aquarius. So it's important that we get clear on what is it that we're doing, that we're pouring our energy into, and how is it somehow uplifting the collective? How is it pouring into the greater good, right? Aquarius is all about community. It's all about global masses, looking at everyone from an aerial point of view and working alongside that. So I say that to say that it's important right now to be intentional, especially during this Mercury retrograde period. As my dog is, do you see her? She's fully like knocked out next to my rose quartz. Getting clear on how is what I am doing serving as some sort of healing, as some sort of conduit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Unification, right? So yes. Cohesive story. But the first card coming up is sacrifice. The second is material and spiritual prosperity. And the third is victory, success. And so the reason why it's really important to show these in unity is because this is, and I just want to say that it's 6, 6, and 12. So there's really there's an emphasis on the fact that this is a story, right? And the story is that you're being called to release something. Obviously, full moons are typically in alignment with releasing, right? We want to use this time to clear space so that in the new moon we can plant seeds for the space that we've cultivated. But there's a special energy coming on to this. And in this deck, this is the equivalent of the traditional tarot's Hanged Man, right? Which is a shift in perspective. But I love the fact that they use sacrifice. And the reason why is because it's really calling us to say, what ways of thinking, what relationships, what obligations, what am I tying myself and my time and my energy to that isn't serving what this looks like for me? And what I think is especially important, especially with like this emphasis on Leo, which can, so much of that is facade and so much of that is mirage. What is toxic sometimes doesn't look like what you would assume something toxic would look like. You know, sometimes I think we think we need to release things that are bad for us, that, you know, are abusive, and it'll be very obvious what it looks like. You know, we'll know when we're in a bad situation, but sometimes what we need to release, what we need to sacrifice is something that's good. Sometimes it's a good relationship. Sometimes it's a well-paying job. Sometimes it's something that provides us with stability and a decent amount of happiness. But this card is saying, how can you relinquish what is good in order to make room for what is great, right? Because you know when you are to some degree settling, and settling doesn't always look like, you know, accepting the bare minimum. Sometimes it looks like, this is fine, but you know in your heart that you want more, that you're deserving of more, and that you can create more. So it's really getting clear on like, what can I sacrifice in order to be in this space of like 100% abundance? If I'm only experiencing 70%, how can I get to that 100? So with that being said, we can now go into the meditation. I hope that resonated. As far as journaling prompts for the week go, I shared the one about confidence, which is going to be in alignment with the meditation that I'm doing right now, but also getting clear on what creative expression looks like for you. And also a big theme, and I'm going to talk more about the Mercury retrograde as we get closer and inside of it, but it has a lot to do with boundaries as well. What boundaries are you allowing to be overstepped? What boundaries are you overstepping? What boundaries are you not respecting within yourself? And just getting clear on boundaries is definitely in alignment with Aquarius Mercury retrograde. Also, like I said, if people haven't already been popping up from your past, because we are in the shadow period, they will. And just allowing whatever needs to be reviewed and re-edited to be done from a place of common sense, right? You already know the relationships that are no longer, like, the whole idea of closure sometimes is self-serving and sometimes it's necessary. So just being discerning, I think that's the word, discerning with who comes up, with what opportunities pop up and all of that. So without further ado, wherever you are, I invite you to move your body and any way that feels intuitive and nourishing and organic. Moving any parts of your body that have become stagnant and still from this time that we've spent together before coming to a space of stillness in the middle. Taking a deep, deep, deep breath in through the nose. Filling up completely. Holding that at the top and sighing it out. One more time, breathing in fully through the nose. Holding that. And sighing it out. One last time, breathing in through the nose. Holding that. And sighing it out. And as we embrace just simply being in our bodies, allow yourself to notice anything that you feel, any tension you may be holding on to, any emotion that feels stuck, or any space in your energetic channel that feels overwhelmed or underwhelmed. Just noticing. Free of judgment, placing your hands in any part of your body that you feel needs a bit more nourishment and intention. I know for me it's my throat for sure. And as we release any tension being held in our eyebrows, in our jaw, allowing your shoulders to rest, your chest to soften. Feel free to just embrace your body. I invite you to place your hands, or if you want to, just in your mind's eye, really connect with your solar plexus. This is in your mid-abdomen. This is your solar center. And this yellow chakra is where we store our power, our confidence, how we show up in this world, how we are seen, and how we allow ourselves to be seen, and how we see ourselves. Under this Leo moon, full moon cycle, we're being called to come back to what is acting out our self-love. If we've been doing all of the inner work, what does the outer work look like? As we connect to this energetic chakra channel, in your mind's eye, I invite you to look in front of you and see you at your most confident. What do you look like? How are you dressed? How do you speak to yourself, to others? What do you spend your time doing? What are your hobbies? What do you do for work? How do you play? How do you adorn your body? What foods do you eat? Who are you at your most confident? I want you to feel them, see them, smell them. Get familiar with who you are at your full embodiment of self. And feeling that connection in your solar plexus, your mid-abdomen. These versions of ourselves, though we may see them as external, they exist within us. And as we breathe through our solar plexus a little bit, allow yourself to push out whatever is keeping you from aligning with the most confident version of yourself. Is it self-doubt? Is it insecurity? Is it a reluctancy to see the divinity within you? Whatever that is, as you breathe through this energetic channel, really visualizing this like solar energy that you have at full disposal. Feel yourself fully morphing in a physical sense with your most confident self. And what breathing through our solar plexus looks like is bringing the chest out in front of us and back around. Breathing in, breathing out. And we'll just do this for a moment. But really allow yourself to breathe through any stagnancy and anything keeping you from aligning with the version of yourself you see so clearly. Seeing the yellow energy, really affirming that you are deserving and worthy and enough. Breathing in fully and completely on each rotation. Releasing any way of thinking, any way of acting that is not supportive of your full confident embodiment. switching rotation, going counterclockwise. Visualizing yourself expressing, adorning your body, eating the foods and moving your body with nourishment and with self-love. Last few, breathing in fully and completely. Before meeting you back in the middle. Releasing on the exhale. And taking this next moment to fully feel embodied. Who you are at your most confident is always within your accessibility. It's a matter of choice. It's a matter of perspective. The way that you choose to perceive yourself is how the world will perceive you. Your ideas are worthy of being seen. You are worthy of being seen. And under this lunar transit, we're being called to come back. Coming back to believing in ourselves unconditionally, expressing ourselves unconditionally, and harnessing and expelling that light that exists right in our mid-abdomen, right in our solar plexus, ready to be shown. As we come back, I invite you, I obviously wanted to keep that as quick as I possibly could under an IG live, but come back to that meditation, come back to that journaling prompt, come back to visualizing who you are at your most confident, at your most expressive, at your most creative, at your most deserving and worthy of being seen, or at least feeling accordingly, and acting alongside that. If that means putting these projects, if that means putting more selfies, if that means simply allowing yourself to be seen, doing so and acting accordingly. But anywho, I love you guys deeply. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Thank you, my love. Yeah, this moon is really, really powerful. I know you have a natal Leo moon, right, Keeks? So same. So really take this time to honor where you are emotionally and act accordingly. If you're feeling like you need to rest. If you're feeling like you want to create. And above all else, allow yourself to be seen, right? Allow yourself to actually be, feel worthy of being seen. So that is all. I'm going to share this now, and I hope that you guys have an amazing week. And I'll talk to you next week about Mercury retrograde, which is a lot. Okay, bye.